Here are 10 scientifically impossible places that actually exist. Devil's Kettle. As far as natural mysteries go, the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota is one of the most intriguing ones. At a particular point along the Brule River, the river's water splits into two. One split continues its course onto the Lake Superior, and the other split, well, we have no clue where it goes. Scientists know it has to end up somewhere, but we don't know where that is. Scientists first tried putting dye into the kettle and waited to see which part of the lake turns up colors. It was a futile effort. Nothing turned up. Next, they decided to try it with ping pong balls. They also vanished without a trace. What the hell is going on? Even if it is being stored underground, there should be markings and it should be traceable. 9. Dolan Lights. Residents of Dolan Valley, Norway are continually living in a realm of great scientific mystery. Almost every night, lights appear in the sky. They are of bright colors. They dance around, shift shapes, flash unmistakably, and disappear, only to appear the next day during the night. This has been going on for 4 decades at least. Scientists are underwater river. Confused? You're not alone. Imagine swimming in the ocean, only to find a river in the middle of the ocean. Yep, that's what happened to the deep sea divers who explored this site. There is a river that lies at the bottom of the Black Sea that has waves, rapids, waterfalls, and everything you'd typically expect from an above-ground river. While the river underneath the Black Sea is one of the most popular ones, several more exist, including one under the sea in Mexico. It's such an interesting phenomenon to study. Sargasso. The Soviet Union had many nuclear facilities, and most of them were ill-planned and unsafe. Inside one such factory, there is a lake. The lake's water has more radioactive material than anywhere else on Earth. Lake Sargasso is so radioactive that you will die within an hour if you stand near it. Soviets dumped nuclear waste into the lake. Their nuclear practices have caused a few problems with the lake in the past. In 1957, an explosion blew the factory apart, and the radioactive particles spread more than 23,000 kilometers. The area is more radioactive than Chernobyl. The lake has been covered with concrete to keep these disasters from happening. Still, the entire place is eerily unstable and massively radioactive. Underwater waterfall. Waterfalls are some of the most beautiful and natural sights to see in the world. Not to mention, they can be very romantic. Want to take it to the next level? Visit the underwater waterfall. This waterfall can be found near Africa and South America and is caused by the strength of the current that pushes water downwards. The scientific term for this underwater waterfall is actually Kelvin-Helmholtz waves, but underwater waterfall does sound cooler. But all may not be exactly as it seems. What you're witnessing, that looks like an underwater waterfall, is actually sand from the shores of Mauritius being driven by ocean currents off of that high coastal shelf and down into the darker ocean depths off the southern tip of the island. If you're worried that Mauritius is about to lose all of its beautiful white sand to the depths of the ocean, don't. Number 5. Sargasso Sea. Every sea in the world is bordered either entirely or mostly by land, except for one. In the North Atlantic Ocean, there lies a sea that breaks this rule. The only sea in the world to be surrounded by, well, more sea. Named after sargassum, a species of seaweed that covers the area's waters, the Sargasso Sea is the only sea without shores or coastlines. Instead of being bounded by land, it is defined by 4 ocean currents. It borders the North Atlantic Current to the north, the Gulf Stream on the west, the North Atlantic Equatorial Current on the south, and the Canary Current on the east. These currents form a clockwise circulating gyre that surrounds the Sargasso Sea, much like a terrestrial coastline would. Number 4. Mendenhall Ice Caves. Just outside of Juneau, Alaska, lies a series of glaciers that span the horizon. The 1,500 square mile range contains 38 individual glaciers of various sizes. One, the Mendenhall Glacier, runs 13 miles long down the ridge, and from the outside looks just like any of its fellow glaciers. But beneath its white and rocky gray facade, it holds one of nature's most spectacular secrets. These partial caves, known as the Mendenhall Ice Caves, may be one of the few places in nature where you can see the water cycle in action. Visitors can watch the ice melt and turn into meltwater before refreezing and turning back into the glaciers. The inside of the ice caves is a spectacular, brilliant blue. Known as glacier blue, this bright color happens when the air is squeezed from the ice and snow as it freezes. The ice, over time, absorbs all colors except blue. The blue also reflects down onto the terrain, giving the entire place an otherworldly, watery experience. Crooked Forest, Poland. Sometimes the strangest sights are found in nature. In this case, 400 pine trees in the northwest of Poland appear to be almost normal, but they are not. If you look at the base of these trees, you might feel like you've just entered a strange mystical fairy tale. All of the trees have the same northward 90-degree bend at the base of their limb. Known as the Crooked Forest, this unique site remains an unexplained mystery. Every tree in the Crooked Forest has the same haunting bend, but despite bent beginnings, all of the trees have grown to be tall and seemingly unhampered by their C-shaped curves. Some experts believe that the trees grow like this because they incurred some sort of damage to the tip and along some side branches. There are plenty of trees in the area, all of which grow upright from the base without the funky curve distinct to the Crooked Forest clan. So perhaps you are wondering why none of the locals have answers to what caused the formation of the Crooked Forest. This is likely because the local town was devastated during World War II. It wasn't until the 1970s, when a new power and heat plant came to the town, that it began to reestablish itself. Today, tourists come to enjoy many beautiful natural sights common to this area, none of which happen to be as unexplainable as the Crooked Forest. In western Venezuela, over the Catatumbo River, there is a storm that never ceases. Starting at 7 p.m. every night, lightning crashes over the water for 10 hours every night, 260 nights each year. Nobody knows for sure why it happens. Up until recently, the leading theory was that it had something to do with uranium in the bedrock, although scientists are starting to doubt it. Today, the leading theory is a complicated one. It posits that the shape of the mountains cause warm trade winds to collide with cold air from the Andes. That collision is then fueled by the rapidly evaporating water below and methane from a nearby oil field. Nobody actually knows for sure, though, why it happens. Everything about it is mysterious, including one moment in 2010 when it inexplicably stopped. One day, the storm just died down without explanation and seemed for a while to be over. Then, after 6 weeks of silence, it sparked up again and has been raging ever since. Sea of Stars. As if the islands of the Maldives weren't already heaven on earth, come nighttime, Vadhu Island reveals another mystical surprise. Glowing blue waves lapping the sandy shore like something out of a fantasy land. Light up, a glittery spread of blue reflecting the sky. This island in particular is known for its amazing Sea of Stars, where the waters glow neon blue at night. A tiny microorganism, a phytoplankton called dinoflagellates, react with oxygen under the water and is triggered to produce this blue glow when it feels movement. Therefore, waters where these small phytoplankton live sparkle as if mirroring or capturing the star.